1400 BC Crete. You are a Minotaur, waking on the cold floor of a labyrinth built to be your prison. Your eyes open to shadow, your breath fogging in the damp air. You push yourself upright, the weight of your own body a constant reminder of what you are. Towering, broad-shouldered, muscles knotted under a coat of coarse, dark fur. Your arms are thick and end in blunt claws, your legs heavy and powerful, hooves clicking against the stone. Your head is that of a bull, with long forward curving horns marked by old scrapes, wide nostrils drawing in the scent of whetstone and something faintly metallic. You know this place without remembering how. There are no doors, no sky, only walls that rise higher than you can reach, twisting in every direction. This is your world. Hunger is the first command your body obeys. It drives you forward, one hand brushing the rough wall as you move. The sound of your hooves echoes and folds back on itself, as if the corridors want you to hear yourself. Somewhere ahead, a faint splash. You follow, shoulders shifting to fit through a narrowing passage. The maze closes behind you and opens in front as if guiding you towards something. You find a shallow pool and kneel, drinking the cold, bitter water until your teeth ache. Your ears twitch there, a sound not made by you. Bare feet, light, quick, uncertain. The smell reaches you a moment later, warm and alive. Your heart thuds faster. You lower your head, your horns tilting forward, every muscle ready. The footsteps pause. You stop too, listening. In this prison, silence is never safe. You turn a corner, expecting empty stone, but the scent is stronger now. The maze has shifted, the turns tighter, the path funneling you toward the source. You know how this works. The walls are not your allies. They do not protect you. They push you toward the hunt, whether you wish it or not. The air grows warmer as you close the distance. Your hooves strike faster against the stone, the sound of pursuit filling the narrow space. In this place, there is no choice. You hunt or you starve, and the labyrinth never lets you rest long enough to forget either. During the reign of King Minos, in the twisting heart of the labyrinth, you catch the first scent of prey. It comes suddenly, sharp and warm against the constant smell of stone and damp. Your body reacts before your thoughts can form, ears forward, head lowering, nostrils flaring to drink in more. Somewhere in the maze, a human has entered. You move, and the corridors seem to sense your intent. A path that was once open now closes behind you with silent certainty. Ahead, narrow turns tighten into a single route, guiding you toward the sound of hurried footsteps. The walls are not your allies, but they know the hunt better than you do. Your hooves strike harder against the floor, each impact echoing in the confined space, growing faster as you close the distance. You hear the uneven breath of the intruder, the stumble of shoes unfit for stone. A corner comes, and you swing wide, horns scraping the wall, chasing the sound through another sudden bend. The air between you shortens until you can hear the heartbeat that isn't your own. Your body moves with an ancient rhythm, shoulders rolling, legs driving, weight leaning forward for the final push. The corridor opens just enough for you to see a figure in the gloom. They glance back once, eyes wide, and the fear in that look drives you faster. The labyrinth narrows again, stealing any chance they have to slip away. You strike, a swift and crushing blow that drops them to the cold floor. The echo fades, replaced by the rush of your own breathing. The warmth of the kill is fleeting, gone before you can even name it. You stand over the body, not with triumph, but with the knowledge that you had no choice. This is not freedom. You did not choose the chase any more than you chose to be here. The labyrinth feeds on the cycle, drawing prey into its heart and bending your will to its pattern. You drag the body away from the main path, leaving it where the walls will eventually close in and hide it from sight. The silence returns, thick and heavy, and the maze begins to shift again. Soon, you know, it will open another path. Soon, there will be more footsteps. You move slowly now, the heat of the hunt fading into the cold of stone. You are not a hunter by desire. You are a weapon the labyrinth refuses to let rest. In the age of King Minos, between the hunts, the labyrinth closes in on you with a different kind of cruelty. There are no voices, no footsteps, no movement, except your own. You wander corridors that seem to stretch for days, though here the idea of days means nothing. The light never changes, the air never shifts, and time has no anchor. Your hooves scuff against the floor, sometimes on smooth stone, sometimes on grit that crunches underfoot. You drink from shallow pools that collect in dips along the walls, the water stale, carrying the taste of moss and metal. Hunger dulls without the hunt, but it never disappears, gnawing quietly at your ribs. You rest where the walls meet in tight corners, your back pressed against the cold. Rough surface, knees drawn in slightly, so your horns do not scrape. Sleep is thin, broken by sounds that might be real, or might be the maze itself. Soft thuds, distant clinks, whispers that fade when you lift your head. You begin to notice how the corridors change without warning. A path you walked 100 times will twist left instead of right. An opening you used for shelter will be sealed as though it never existed. Sometimes you feel the shift while you stand still, the air moving in strange patterns, the floor beneath you, almost breathing. It is not a place made of dead stone. The labyrinth is alive in its own way, and you are inside it like the beating heart of a creature too vast to see. You test it, pacing along one wall for hours, marking it with the edge of your horn. When you return, the marks are still there, but they lead to nowhere you recognize. You try to remember where each bend leads, but memory becomes another trick it plays on you. The maze does not want you to know it. It wants you to obey its turns and stops without question. You walk until the ache in your legs forces you down again. You listen for change, for the signal that another hunt will come. And in the silence, you feel the truth settle heavy in your chest. This is not a prison you can break. It will not weaken, it will not grow old, and it will never open to the world beyond. It will shift forever, keeping you fed but never free, alive but never living. You are not waiting for escape. You are waiting for the labyrinth to decide when you will move again. The sound reaches you before the scent, metal striking against stone, the soft clink of armor plates, and the muffled weight of determined footsteps. This is no frantic prey stumbling through the dark. This is a group that moves together, trained, breathing in unison. You draw in their scent and taste oil, leather, and the faint tang of sharpened bronze. They are armed, spears tipped with metal that will pierce hide and muscle, short swords meant for close work, and shields broad enough to turn your horns. They do not scatter when the labyrinth shifts to bring you closer. They advance. You keep low, pressing your shoulder into the wall, moving through turns that you know will hide you until the last moment. The maze offers you shadows, and you take them. You track them by the rhythm of their steps, the scrape of spear tips brushing the walls. One man glances over his shoulder and sees nothing, but you are already moving. You burst from the dark, head low, horns forward, and the first spear shatters against the wall as you slam its bearer into the floor. The others close in, shields locking together, forcing you back into a narrow passage. Bronze bites into your side, a hot sting followed by the wet smell of your own blood. Pain sharpens you. You retreat, letting them think you are weakening, pulling them deeper into a section of the labyrinth you know bends sharply twice before ending in a blind wall. You vanish around the second bend and wait. Their steps quicken, eager to finish the kill. When they turn the last corner, you are already charging. Your horns drive through the shield wall, splintering wood, knocking two to the ground. You pivot, using the tight walls to pin one man and crush the breath from him before the others can react. A sword catches your forearm, but you wrench it from the attacker's grip and hurl it aside. One by one they fall, some to your horns, some to the crushing weight of your body in the confined space. When the last body is still, the only sound is your own breathing, deep and ragged. You step back, surveying the ground, but there is no satisfaction here. The labyrinth begins to change even as you watch, the walls sliding silently to cover the blood, the broken shields, the signs of struggle. Soon, it is as if they were never here at all. You understand, more clearly than before, that it will always be this way. The maze feeds you enemies. You destroy them, and it erases them. The bodies may vanish, but the hunger remains. The cycle does not end, no matter who dies. Sometimes, when the maze is still, and the air holds its breath, you hear voices. They are not the shouts of hunters or the screams of prey. They are distant, drifting in as if carried through cracks in the stone from a world you can no longer reach. They speak in the language you understand, but their words feel carved from another life. The monster of the labyrinth, they call you, their tone heavy with fear, with hatred. They tell each other stories of your horns goring men, of your hooves trampling the innocent, of your appetite for human flesh. They never speak of the walls that shift around you, of the paths that seal your way, of the endless stone sky overhead. To them, you are a creature of violence, not a prisoner. You press your palm to the wall, leaning into the cold, wondering if these voices are memories or dreams. Sometimes you catch fragments of faces in your mind, a woman with eyes that do not fear you, a hand reaching toward you through sunlight, but they dissolve before you can hold them. The labyrinth does not want you to remember anything that would make you more than what it says you are. It feeds you the sound of those voices, so you know how the outside sees you, but it keeps the truth locked away. You try to imagine what lies beyond these walls, if the voices come from the palace above, or from crowds gathered in some distant square, repeating the same tale until it hardens into truth. You wonder if King Minos still lives, if he sends them in as offerings or punishments, or if the maze now chooses for itself. You cannot know. The labyrinth never explains. It is a place of orders without reasons, of corridors without ends. Sometimes, after days of silence, the voices return, reciting the same words: beast, abomination, curse. Each one is a stone added to the weight you carry. You think of shouting back, but the sound would die in the narrow air before reaching anyone who matters. So you walk. You keep your body ready, because sooner or later, the walls will open again and give you someone else to kill. You tell yourself it is for food, for survival, but the echo of their stories makes you feel the lie in your own mind. You are not free to refuse the hunt. The labyrinth will move, and you will follow, because here there is no other path. Whether this is punishment, a test, or some cruel amusement for gods or kings, you are never told. All you know is the cycle. All you know is the echo. They arrive with no hesitation, moving as one. 4 men, bronze armor strapped tight, shields warm but solid, spears gleaming in the dim light. Their footsteps are quick, deliberate, never wandering, as if they already know the turns before they take them. The labyrinth guides you toward them, walls narrowing behind you, closing the paths you would use to disappear. You smell their resolve before you feel the sting of their weapons. The first spear thrust comes fast, grazing your side and leaving a hot line of pain. You retreat into shadow, forcing them to follow where the maze bends twice and drops into a choke point. But they do not scatter or hesitate. They advance, shields forward, their rhythm unbroken. You charge once, horns low, slamming into the front man and throwing him back against the wall. But another is already at your flank, the edge of his blade biting into your arm. Blood runs down to your fingertips, warm at first, then chilling as it drips to the stone. You pull away, trying to vanish into a side passage, but the labyrinth turns you again, forcing you back toward the same tightening knot of corridors where they wait. Each exchange leaves you heavier, breath ragged, vision narrowing to the gleam of bronze and the flicker of torchlight on stone. You lunge, pinning one against the wall, hearing his breath leave him in a single sharp gasp. Another spear catches your thigh and drives you back, pain spreading through muscle that refuses to fail. You circle, horns grazing the wall, listening for the misstep that never comes. They are disciplined, pressing together, refusing to give you an opening. The labyrinth seems to favor them, twisting the paths into short, sharp runs that keep you in sight, forcing you into angles where your size works against you. You fight on, each blow slower than the last, until at last you break through their formation and disappear into a narrow run of dark. You press yourself into the corner, blood pooling under you, breath loud in your own ears, but the maze is not done. The air shifts, the walls slide, and you are turned toward them again. Whether you kill the last of them or they bring you down, you know the truth now. There is no final hunt, no victory that ends the cycle. If you fall, the labyrinth will keep your prison sealed forever. If you survive, it will heal you just enough to send you after the next intruders. You look for signs that this will end, but the walls only close tighter. You are not moving toward freedom. You are only circling the same fate, over and over, until nothing remains but the will to keep walking because the maze demands it, and the curse of knowing that you will never leave.